What's up, friends? Chuck here. Welcome back to the channel. So sorry about the lull in videos for the past couple weeks. I've been busy with life and holidays and actually waiting on parts. It's hard to do the work when you don't have parts to perform the tasks. So I actually made a video yesterday that ended up getting corrupted and not being able to let me use. That was about me talking about waiting on the parts and what parts I ordered and etc. Actually, it turned out to be a good thing because I got back from making the video and trying it in the computer and finding out that it could not read the files to a doorbell. That I went and looked and I had the box of parts. So the parts are here. Let's go ahead and take a look at them, and then we'll talk about what order we're going to do some stuff in. Okay? Okay. So, parts. This is the valve cover gasket. Basically a rubber seal that goes around the valve cover, and it's a inline 6, so there's 3 little covers are basically where the spark plug wells are. I went with the BMW, actual BMW part on this. On the internet, if you look it up, people have differing opinions about what, how decent the aftermarket ones are. So I figured the BMW one, assuming that's the original, has lasted 20 years. And if not, the BMW one gets decent reviews, so I went BMW, even though it wasn't BMW prices. These are little tiny rubber grommet washer things that actually fit basically in each of these little holes on the valve cover. It just helps keep things nice and tight. These are exhaust hangers, so there's a metal bracket under the car that goes around, clips into the bottom of the car, and then the exhaust hanger goes through this hole. There's 2 of them. Mine are basically, the rubber around here is kind of ripped out and chewed up, so the exhaust is flopping around. We're going to take the exhaust off to perform some of the work. So it's basically a 2-piped exhaust the whole way back until it goes into the muffler. I don't know why, but each side has a little bit different donut gasket. So these are the 2 donut gaskets for the exhaust. These actually were on back order for some reason, which is why the parts took so long. This is the selector shaft seal. Let's see what this looks like. Come on now. So on the top of the transmission, there is this little tiny seal that basically gets pushed in where the selector rod goes into the transmission tunnel. Into the transmission itself. So this basically gets pushed in and seals. This very small part here is what's leaking on top of my transmission. And because we're taking the exhaust off and the drive shaft out, to fix that, I figured we should go ahead and basically rebuild the shifter. So there are a lot of parts here that are part of the shifter rebuild kit. A lot of little plastic grommets, and this, goes over the ball of the actual shift lever itself. Shifter rod joint, I don't know what that is. Basically a bunch of little clips and clamps and other things. I think that's basically everything for the rebuild of the shifter. Should be pretty straightforward. This is part of the shifter as well. Let's see what this looks like. Alright. This is... oh yeah, so this is where the shifter actually connects to the transmission to slide that rod in and out. So this has to come off to fix that selector shaft seal. This is basically just a new one. Very nice. While we're in there, might as well take care of it all. And the last thing, this is a $4 part, but it's causing a bunch of leaks. This is the oil filter housing gasket. So the oil filter sits basically, up here and drains down to the side of the block. Where it connects is this is the thing that I said is kind of like an O-ring, but not shaped like an O. There you go. So, some stuff. So yeah, parts are finally in. We should be getting to some legitimate work here pretty soon. My fundraising, basically selling old parts on Craigslist and doing things like that to make fund the cage is going well. I think I'm about halfway there, so keep that up a little bit, and hopefully maybe January-ish we can start pulling everything out and getting the cage ready to go in. I think what I'm gonna do, I'm not positive yet, but I think I'll probably start in the engine bay, do the 2 gaskets, the oil filter housing and the valve cover, and then put the car on jack stands so it can just kind of chill in the garage for a little bit and get to basically right under this area. We have to drop the exhaust and drop the drive shaft, so while that's out, we'll go ahead and take care of basically all of the transmission issues. I might look while I'm under there and make sure nothing else, like when the drive shaft is out, there's like a guibo and some other stuff that could be replaced. Might as well just take a look at it, make sure while it's out, if it needs to be replaced, go ahead and do that as well. But yeah, we're got our parts now, at least our first wave of parts, to get quite a bit of that stuff on our list. Where'd my list go? There's my list. Most of this stuff can be repaired with the parts we got. Some of the suspension stuff, like the control arms and the tie rods and things, we'll have to wait for the second round of parts ordering. But I don't want to do that stuff until I'm ready to take it in and get it aligned. So the majority of this stuff though we can take care of, and yeah, I might try to get it all, basically everything done before I bring it in to get the cage in, so that way while it's there they can just go ahead and get it aligned, and we should be basically ready to go. The oil pan gasket was something else they said might be leaking. I'm gonna wait and see if when I replace the other 2 oil leaks, maybe clean it off, see if it's actually leaking pretty bad. It might just, I didn't really notice like a direct leak, but they just kind of assumed that might be the case because of how much oil was down there. So I'm hoping that maybe if I fix the top 2, they're just draining down, getting the bottom wet. If not, I'll have them do it when I get basically like the subframe reinforced and that sort of thing. We do need to swap my iBox sway bars. So yeah, pretty soon this thing's gonna be on blocks in the garage, getting torn apart because it's winter time and it's got race car tires on it, and they don't do that well in the rain, so you get it out there in the snow and we're gonna end up in a ditch. So if you're new, got a decent amount of new subscribers lately, I'm glad you're here. Stick around. Sorry about the lull in videos. We should be back at it pretty soon here. The holiday time, it's pretty busy for everyone anyway, so yeah, I gotta get my space heater. I got my new sweatshirt on, so we're good to go. Get out here, get some work done, get on the track next year. Let's do it! Bye-bye!